Live? We are live. You're watching National Streaming Sports. Over 20 podcasts, 70 shows, and a 3.5-star rating on Roku TV. Check out nessp.info for direct links and deals on the site Bet Us for 125% off your first three deposits in NFL and college odds for upcoming games, Major League Baseball and NBA futures, and boxing wagers. Also, check out Fanatics, sportswear for your favorite teams, and also network merchandise, retro, Northeast Streaming Sports, National Streaming Sports, Big Football, and the Mac and Jack Sports Show t-shirts. Coffee mugs are coming soon. Check it out.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, get any...
Yes, I'm ready to. Can you hear me, James? Can you hear me now? Because this board is just out of control. I mean, I've got videos going, I got music going, and I don't know what the hell is going on right now. Anyway, folks, welcome to the National Professional Sports Show. Keith Angle is in on time. I'm pumped. We have Sonia Pearson back. Jay Train's up right next to me. And, of course, we got the great Bo Crouch right at the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Yes, Bo is here. And, folks, bet us. Check it out. Go to nessp.info. All kinds of great deals on our links. And, of course, Fanatics, also a sponsor of the show. Folks, welcome. And we got a lot to talk about today. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Jets and the San Francisco 49ers because, of course, they were on after us the following day. So I want to talk a little bit about them because it was some interesting things happened during that game that I want to bring to everybody's attention. First of all, the Jets defense is not a Super Bowl defense as of that game. We know that. San Francisco just ran all over them like a knife through hot butter. It was just out of control. That was without Christian McCaffrey. The defense has a lot of work to do. Secondly, I want to talk to you guys about is the offense of tackles that were supposed to help Aaron Rodgers in the New York Jets. They're old. They're coming off the injury list, and they really didn't help that much. Rodgers was kind of dancing around back there. He did okay. Passed for 161 yards. That's not Aaron Rodgers, as we all know. That's definitely not him in his prime. And we'll start with those two because I got a couple of things to talk about. Since Sonia has graced us with her presence this show, I want to start with you, Sonia. What do you think about the Jets defense now?
Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here on the show again. So first of all, I'm really not surprised, to be honest with you, that this is the same old Jets. Let's be clear. Everyone was hyped up about Aaron Rodgers signing. And then they also were saying, oh, well, now he's injured. When he comes back, we're going to be this, that, and third. They pulled Sauce Gardner off the field for some unspecified reason. I mean, it was just a conundrum of catastrophes with the team, not just on the defense, but the offense as well. And hello, Excalibur force, whatever. Who's your team?
I
will say that the Jets are not only not a Super Bowl team for the defense, they are not a Super Bowl team for the offense, for what I've seen. And like you said, sans Christian McCaffrey, and they still put up like that on the Jets. Same old Jets.
Now, to be fair, it's the first game, right? I mean, just to be fair, let's not go crazy. So, yeah, but I do agree with almost everything you said there. Bo, I mean, listen, I mean, what the hype is always bigger than whatever happens, right? I want to ask you about taking Aaron Rodgers out at the end of the game. Now, with under 5 minutes left, they decide that they don't want Aaron Rodgers to get hurt. And so they pull him. I guess that's why they pulled him. But you played football. You played semi-pro. I played football for 12 years. And there's one thing that I know: when you pull your starting quarterback, now granted it would have had to taken a lot for the Jets to come back, but it was possible. Not probable, but possible. And you pull out your starting quarterback, the leader of your offense, the captain of the ship. What kind of message does that send to your team? We gave up?
So let me answer that question with a question. Don't you think Daniel Jones should have been pulled out at the end of a couple of those 10-sack games last year where he was just getting murdered and the score was out of hand? Or do you want him to just stay in there getting railroaded by the other team? In this case, you have Aaron Rodgers returning for his first game from an Achilles tear in a game that's out of hand, and an offensive line that wasn't protecting him particularly well. Yeah, I'm pulling him out too. It's already a loss. We haven't seen anybody catch a football all night. Garrett Wilson dropped, 4? That's their most sure-handed guy. And not like, oh, it's off the fingertips, like square in the hands, hit the grass. So, I mean, sometimes you just got to round up your toys and live to play another day.
It surprises me you being a football player saying that. It really does. Because, Keith, I'm going to tell you right now, Daniel Jones is coming off a bad injury too. He played the whole game and got sacked, I think 6 times. Aaron Rodgers got sacked once. To me, and this is just my opinion, and for what it's worth, I play quarterback, and I was on teams when I wasn't a quarterback. But to me, I want my players to always think they can win a game. I always want them trying. That's what I pay them for, first of all. And second of all, I mean, the message to the team was like, well, if we get a few touchdowns down or 3 scores down in a game, we're going to pull the captain. We're going to pull Tyrod Taylor. So why should you keep playing? Why would I keep playing hard if I'm a teammate of Aaron Rodgers and I'm still on the field? This is what the question I'm asking.
Not every loss is the same, though. Yeah. Like you're talking about a day where everything was bad. Like this is a game when you hit the film room, you're burning this tape. Like there's nothing on that tape that you're going to watch Monday morning where you're like, that was nice. We did that right. And we got to work on this. No, it is 3 hours of what you're not supposed to do. So sometimes you're just like, you know what? Let's just throw that away, get out of this film room, start working on next week.
Or next season.
I mean, did I miss like 14 weeks of the season or something?
Man.
Guys, it's the first week of the season.
I was going to let me.
Man. Am I talking?
Let me ask you this. Yes, you are. Let me. I know it's an overreaction. I know it's the first game of the season. The only thing I'm asking is, and I guess Bo thinks it's okay to give up. They're getting paid a lot of money.
You give up.
They're getting a lot of money to play this game.
4 minutes and 21 seconds left in the game. They're down 3 scores. They win that game.
I'm shocked.
So technically, yes. Technically, yes, you can win that game. We watched Russell Wilson do it to Green Bay.
Can't win that game.
It's possible.
Tom Brady and the Patriots aren't going to win that game.
What's that, Mac?
In It is incredibly unlikely. And I mean, again, what you're doing here is preserving guys for another day, because the last thing you want to do is have them get a sack in a meaningless end of a game. Now, if you're the player, you want to play. So my feel of when I played the sport, I want to be out there until the numbers are zeros, right? As an analyst or as a coach, I want to make sure I have those guys to make it to the zeros of next week. So your thought of it is a little different when you're
listen,
versus on the field.
Well, that's fair. But James, I don't know how long you followed football, but I would never expect, and I've never seen Tom Brady get taken out of a game because they were afraid he was going to get hurt at the end when they were losing or winning a lot. I have never seen Phil Simms being taken out of a game when he was getting beat up because they were losing.
Never's wrong.
Well, I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
Mostly,
I've never seen
right. Mostly you're right, but never is not an accurate statement. So,
well,
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I can tell you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I could tell you Phil Simms never walked out of a game at the end because they were losing by 38-3. Go ahead, James. Sorry.
Never.
No, I was going to say Drew Brees, I've never seen him come out of a game where that they were losing. He was just that competitive. Him and Sean Payton, I guess, had an agreement where even if we're losing, we don't have a touchdown. He's going to try to score a touchdown at the last minute to just put points on the board. It's just in him. I get that old school mentality. But I can also, Mac, I can also see why you would take Aaron Rodgers out of the game. It was over. And this guy just coming off an Achilles injury, and there's no way they're coming back. Tyrod Taylor scored a touchdown, but they took the foot off the gas. San Francisco, this is a team that they just played in the Super Bowl, and they look to be primed to do the same thing this year. So they just got the brakes beat off them. They did. So the game was over.
Also had the guy that did the Achilles tear to Rodgers.
Right. Exactly. You know what? So I mean, I can see why that. I mean, at the same time, I'm not surprised. Rodgers, this is the same guy that did the Egypt trip. So I mean, a lot of crazy stuff is going on with them. I don't know what's going on, but I still see this team as a playoff team. They just played a very difficult team. I didn't say Super Bowl. I didn't say Super Bowl. I said playoff. I can see them winning 9 games.
In the hunt.
Can I add one thing? If I'm going to leave Aaron, I will say one reason to keep Aaron Rodgers in this game. I don't think they're not going to win that game because you can say they give up. But I keep him in the game because one of the reasons the Jets look so bad is Aaron Rodgers didn't play one snap in the preseason, and half those offensive linemen didn't play any snaps in the preseason. They played none with Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Wilson played no snaps with Aaron Rodgers, and that's why they look so bad. And it's 1 week, and that's why we see all kinds of bad football, and we have overreactions in September because they don't play. I watch. Listen, let me add one quick thing. I'm sorry, Sonia. The other night, believe it or not, because this is what I do. I'm surfing YouTube. I'm watching an old college all-star game against the Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers in 1975, which was played before the Hall of Fame game. So it was probably June. I don't even know what the date was. Every starter played like 3.5 quarters of that game.
I remember that game.
And allow me to make this one small insertion, and then we're done with it. Okay, we are literally done with this conversation after I say this, because there's been so many people, this Excalibur person, Lord of the Rings person, that keeps commenting. I don't even know.
He likes CA
about the Panthers. Let me just let you know what Keith just said. Amen to that. The Panthers didn't play Bryce. The Panthers didn't play any of their starters the whole preseason. None of those guys have docked the field since January of this year. And we got mollywop, drug, and throughout. And poor Bryce got tackled by one of his own linemen.
My sister, I got to burst your bubble.
That's all I'm going to say. No one can talk about it anymore ever. It's the worst the Panthers history.
The Saints didn't play either in preseason.
Yeah, you guys had your water boys playing us. So what? We lost 47-10, but like he said, it's only week 1, and we didn't. That was just our practice game.
Wait a minute. I think CJ. I think she's possessed by CJ. Well, pretty sure.
I think she is. So.
But real quick, I do think that
we're going to keep doing it.
I think Dable low key wants Daniel Jones to die out there.
Okay. All right.
So he just lets him out there no matter how bad he's getting beat up. He's just like, well,
okay, all right.
Rub some dirt on it.
Okay. So let's look ahead to tomorrow night's game. We got I'm totally prepared here. I know the Denver Broncos are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Justin Fields will be starting again. Is this one of those things that if Justin Fields continues to win, he'll continue to start, or is Russell Wilson's injury, a lot worse than we think? What do you think, James?
I think it's a combination of both. I think when you have momentum and you're winning, and neither quarterback really showed that one took the starting job over the other, you're going to let the guy with the winning hand continue to play. And you allow Russell Wilson to heal up. And it could be, it's the same injury. It aggravated the same injury. So they could be allowing him to heal up. But if Justin Fields continue to he didn't roll, but if he continues to win, then you let that guy continue to play. You're not going to change it. And you got Russell Wilson. He's a capable backup as well. So
I was at that game.
Would everybody agree with that?
Yeah. No. Excuse me. I was at that game here in Atlanta. And let's be clear, Russell just didn't suit up because he was in Future's hometown. Sierra probably told him, don't. A little strain. Come on, you're competing. Let's be clear, y'all. You're competing for a starting position, and you let a little strain in week 1 pull you from the game when you know you're being highly competitive for a starting position. That's a load of crap. And I people were in the audience in the stands, even Falcons fans wearing chef's hats. Because they're talking about let Russ cook. Honey, he was cooked, burned, and put out to dry. He wasn't even on the field. They wasted their outfits.
Is this what they're teaching you in law school? What's going on?
That's what I saw. I was during the game.
I don't think this was entirely in his control because he looked really mad after the game, even though they won, right? Which isn't something that you generally see out of Russ. So this sounds more like maybe he was benched not because they didn't want to roll him out. Now, some of that, I guess, could be a precaution because a lot of calf injuries can lead to these Achilles tears that we've been talking about. So maybe they were trying to protect him. Or, maybe they used it as an opportunity to say, hey, we'll give Fields a shot. Saying he played well is a stretch. Like they won because of defense.
Yes.
Although statistically 17-23 seems good, he had 2 passes that were longer than 15 yards. So let's pump the brakes. Everyone can throw to the flat. So I saw nothing out of Justin Fields that makes me think he's an actual quarterback yet. So let's calm down with he's taking this job over.
And the score was 20-15 at the end. So and it was because Kirk Cousins, who the $1 million quarterback that the Falcons bought the farm and sold it and resold it again and refurnished it and rented it out for, threw 2 critical interceptions at pivotal times in the game, including in the fourth quarter when they were within scoring distance. Instead of just going ahead and getting the 3, they got greedy on 4th and 1. And he threw an interception, and Russ, when he wasn't even in practice pads when they were coming out warming up. So we knew then that before they even announced that he wasn't playing. So we'll see.
But in true Russ fashion, right? If he was completely out of this game, good thing he showed up in shoulder pads.
Yeah. Okay.
Hope he did some stretching on the airplane in.
Yes.
You know what? To answer the original question, if he wins this week, he's not going to lose the job until he loses a game.
Right.
They're not putting Wilson
That's
in there
what I
until
think
they
too.
lose.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo made an entire career out of it.
Yeah.
I would
His
agree
numbers
with
are great,
that.
but
I
if
would
the
agree.
team wins, hey,
Yeah, it's true. It is true. So the biggest talk of the week, of course, has been the Tyreek Hill incident in Miami, and I'm going to give you a different viewpoint that nobody has talked about. I'm surprised they haven't. I got a couple friends that are in the police where I am from here. Now, to think that a police division of Miami who was being paid to work security for the Miami Dolphins did not know that was Tyreek Hill is totally wrong. They knew who it was. And if they didn't know, when they called it in the license plate, they knew then. So briefly, Tyreek Hill lied when he said he didn't know why he was stopped and that he was compliant. That was a lie. He knew why he was stopped. In fact, he told me, give me the ticket. He knew why he was stopped. He also was not compliant in the beginning. He wouldn't roll down the window. When the policeman took him out of the car forcibly, threw him on his stomach, put a knee in his back, the police just blew it. That was totally wrong. They should have never done that. So what I'm going to tell you is something that nobody has said. Back in about a year ago, September 18th at the Florida Marina, the cops were called on Tyreek Hill and his friends. He went on a boat. Let me finish if I can get in here. They got on a boat without permission. Tyreek Hill assaulted one of the members that I guess told him he couldn't go on the boat by striking him. The cops were called, the same cops that work security for Miami. So they processed it, incident report. There was going to be a case. The NFL was involved with it at that time. What ended up happening was there became an agreement, a settlement between him and Tyreek Hill. So the charges were dropped. Police are like everybody else. If something happens that affects the office, they talk. That guarantee you, like everybody does in an office, when something happens, that they end up talking about it back at the office. I also can tell you that when they get back to the office, they look up the arrest history or the legal problems that the individual has. So I can tell you from almost with certainty that these police not only were mad that the guy did not press charges, they were mad because him, a rich sports figure, could think he could just get on a boat without permission and could strike somebody. They were mad about that, and they were twice as mad probably, or at least as mad, when that person did not press charges, did not take it to case. The NFL drops it, says there's no reason to keep investigating this. And maybe one of those cops were one of the cops that went down to the marina. So when they show up and they see Tyreek Hill speeding and they stop him and he doesn't roll down the window and he decides, he says, I'll get out of the car. Oh, I'm going to get out of the car. And the cop said, no, we're not going to, I'm taking you out of the car. You're not going to tell us what you're going to do. We're going to tell you. And I think that because of what happened before, and after they looked up the legal history, they found out that he was allegedly a domestic violence case where he struck his 3-year-old child. This is all a matter of public record. They have it. I guarantee you they were ticked. They knew it was him, and they were hoping that he gave them a hard time. I guarantee you they wanted him to give them a hard time. And when they did, this cop decided, well, now, Mr. Rich Sports Guy, I got you right where I want you. Now, again, if Tyreek Hill rolled down the window and kept it down and gave him his registration and license, it probably would have been over right there, probably. If he got out of the car and started fighting with them, they had just cause to restrain him. They had no cause to restrain this guy. Let me be clear. What the cops did, and I'm going to tell you what my cop friends would say, what they did was wrong. And not only were they wrong, they're not just representing that security squad there. They're representing the whole Florida Police Department. They're representing cops across the country. It's like when you're in the military. They tell you when you go out in your uniform, you do not do anything that's unbecoming the United States military, period. They're in uniform, and that's what they did. So I think he was targeted, and when he speeded, they had him, and I think they were looking for him to put up a fight, and he did, and this cop went crazy. And I agree with Tyree. I agree with everybody, and I think my police friends would agree too. This guy should be fired, not put suspended, but he should be fired because he escalated it, and the cops around him. When I went out and the military, when I was in the military, and somebody started a fight, they got pulled away by the other military guys and said, "You're going to hell home." And this is what should have been done by those cops there too. Again, I'm not saying that Tyreek Hill was right. In the beginning, he was totally wrong. But when the cops pulled him out of the car, that's when everything changed. So that I don't know why that take hasn't been put out there on any other show, because I'm telling you right now, cops are human. And just like us, sometimes we are jealous of people that make more money and can get away with things in the courtroom because they have a lot of money. And I think this was what this whole thing was about. What do you guys think?
No, I mean, it's a good take. I didn't think about the I kind of forgot about the boat incident. Now, I mean, who knows if those guys were involved or not, but I did forget about that. And yeah, I mean, he was wrong by rolling his window back up. Incidentally, I did that once. I had the auto windows. I bumped it, and I had limo tint on my windows, and I was met with guns at my window. So, I mean, they don't think not being able to see you is funny at all. So, them getting agitated at that point, I understand. I've been the recipient of that. But once they ripped him out of the car, that's where they overstepped. And yeah, I mean, that's how you get fired. The main part of your job is to de-escalate situations, and they seemed primed to make it worse at every turn they could.
I agree.
Just with the history of what's happened between police brutality and different things like that, I just, from my perspective, I'm going to comply. I don't want it to be my fault that something happens to me, that I don't come home to my wife or anything like that. I want it to be, if something happens, it's going to be on you. I'm going to have all my stuff ready. I'm going to have my driver's license, my registration already prepared, window down, it stays down. Mr. Officer, sir, what's the deal? Speeding? Okay. I won't be in a rush because I saw the video. Just give me my ticket. Let me go. I'm late for, man, he was already in the wrong way. Just not good for the presentation. So you're just not helping yourself. And so regardless, like you said, the cop was totally wrong. He was wrong. But if you don't want any problems with anything, if you know you're speeding, you got a ticket, just leave the window down. You got dark tint. I don't know if he knows the protocol or how that's supposed to go. You should know. He said he wants to be a cop. So I would imagine that if he wants to be a cop, then he needs to know what the rules are and just abide by them, man, and just let them take care of their business and go on about your business and go play your game. This would have been nothing. He would have just got a ticket. We wouldn't even be talking about this.
Yep.
Had the window stayed down.
I agree.
I mean, we're talking about a time where, first and foremost, you have to think, even in outside of the fact that what the officer did behavior-wise was just totally disrespectful. You rip him out of the car for a speeding ticket. He didn't rob a bank. He didn't shoot up somewhere. He didn't even run anybody off the road. You just ran. You literally ripped him out the car like you had to get him out when he literally, volunteered, I'm going to get out. Even though he had a bad attitude and saying, hey, let me just get my ticket. It was almost like, I know I'm in the, let me just go about my day. Just keep this thing moving. Let it be what it's going to be. But in the era that we're thinking about, when you have tinted windows, officers don't know what's on the other side of that window. So they're all like, whoever you are, it doesn't matter, a regular person, celebrity, non-celebrity. If they go up to your window and they can't see, they're going to already kick it up a notch because they have to protect themselves because they want to go home too. Not saying that what the officer did was right in any way, but having had law enforcement in my family, I could see that specific side, especially when he kept the window up. Like we've seen this before, you are not complying. And even though we do, especially in this day and age, where there are especially brown persons who are no longer with us for less than that. Like if this was not Tyreek Hill that behaved this way, would this person have even survived that traffic stop? Because we've seen people die for less than that. So not wanting to put your window down. I mean, we've seen rappers have videos. I think Boosie Badass was one of the ones who he didn't want to comply with the officer, and they had the whole thing out there. At the end of the day, you know, no amount of money should make you be disrespectful to anyone, no matter what their profession is. I don't care if this officer was the janitor that said you dropped a piece of paper on the ground and asked you to pick it up. Just show an ounce of compassion and respect for your fellow man. This is wrong on both sides of the coin, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really don't have anything to add. I mean, to me, it's a bad look for everybody involved. And, you know, it's sad that it's a commentary on the sports world and the world in general that this is a big story, but it's not even a big story in a way, because this happens so often, and often, as Sonia said, with worse results than what happened here.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
the key here is that they weren't called to a back alley. They weren't called to a corner away from the stadium. This is where they were. They knew the area. They know by the players going in and out what cars they drive. I mean, this is not a surprise. Let's put it that way. So I'll leave it at that, guys. Listen, it's a shame that what this does is make all the policemen across the country now have to be a little bit, maybe even more on their toes. And I'll give you a little hint. If you're being stopped at nighttime, turn that inside light on and put your hands on the wheel so they don't have to come with the flashlight and do that. You do that, they may let you go on a warning. A little hint for you guys out there if you want.
Now, that's one thing I've always found interesting is you're getting pulled over. Getting combative guarantees you get a ticket. Like in any given stop, there's always that slight chance that, you know, you might get a warning or they get another call that seems more worth it. But if you're giving them a hard time, that call can wait, because now they've invested in wrecking your day. Like they're just doing their job. Let them do their job.
But Mac pointed it out very eloquently. And like you said, Bo, I actually forgot about Tyreek Hill's run-in from the boat incident. And one of the comments was talking about his multiple domestic violence. I think he had some stuff with his wife. Like, this dude is no stranger to law enforcement. Like, even from a security perspective with the Dolphins, I mean, even before he came to the Dolphins, he had issues with law enforcement. He's known in the GCIC database, the NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center. Anybody knows Tyreek Hill, it's like, oh, go ahead and arm yourself, because this dude's gonna be trouble. But he's gonna mess around if he doesn't reel it in, and somebody's not gonna care about the dollar signs. And that's my biggest worry right here. Someone's not gonna care that you are a star NFL player, and you're gonna get the wrong one, and it's gonna be bad news bears for everybody involved, way worse than what we've seen in this incident.
Yes.
Well, when he's a porn star, this stuff won't happen. Didn't he want to become a porn star as well?
You talking about Jimmy G?
No, I think
Tyreek.
Yeah.
First a porn star, now a cop.
That's great. That's quite the spectrum on the employment.
To be fair, the porn star thing actually kind of makes sense. What, he kicks out a kid every 800 yards, right?
Right.
Just give him a Bible and a pulpit at this point.
I figured it was out of the way to another childbirth when he got pulled over.
Oh man! So there was a TJ Moe. I guess he's a college analyst over there on Twitter. He says the biggest difference between Nebraska and Colorado football is Nebraska hired a coach that builds programs and develops kids. Colorado hired a celebrity that wants to be the chief marketing officer for himself and his kids. I think that's a pretty valid point. I don't know if anybody really disagrees with that point.
Nope.
If anybody does,
100%
like
accurate.
I disagree with that.
100%.
Okay. All right.
Just off the track record. I mean, Deion, he was a winner in Jackson State. So, I mean, whether you think that's a competitive level or not, I mean, 2 years, Jackson State was on the map. They were garbage before that. So, and I would say that, and also he's a great recruiter. I mean, Travis Hunter was supposed to go to Florida State, and he ended up going to Jackson State.
Other than his
And not
kids,
only
that's
that-
the only great recruit he's ever had, by the way. All the others are transfers. All.
Yeah. And people
In there, I mean, there, but he had a lot of, I mean, he got rid of, like you said, he got a lot of transfers, but he did get some great recruits too. But he's not doing that well I will admit that he's not doing that well there at Colorado. They need help. I don't know I said, look, Deion has always been a brash guy. He's always been a motivator to try to bring things. The attention he brought to himself was to win and to make money. But but I never heard any teammate say any bad thing about Deion. Deion studied hard, he worked hard, and the evidence came in itself with him being a player that went from San Francisco to Dallas to bring championships to both sides. I think he was a defensive player of the year, and he's also say that again.
He was in Atlanta. That's where he had all the chains and everything.
And the Jerry curls, yeah.
It seems everywhere.
But Deion, again, I just think they have bad years, but I still think he's a good coach. I think he's a good coach, just off the evidence from Jackson State, and I think he's just having a bad time here right now with the first couple of years at Colorado. I still think they have a chance to turn it around, just not right now.
To the commentator's point,
came out and actually said that he caters to his son more than anybody. One of the players, I can't remember who it was, but I'm gonna say they have not been the same since they were exposed by them Ducks. When they said clicks and likes, that's all it has been in Colorado, and it's sickening. I mean, Shador doing promos during halftime. Even Tom Brady came out and was like, "Dude, read your book, read your playbook." No, Deion is going to be on his way out the door if he doesn't turn around soon. You got rappers at every game. People never been to Colorado. Now they got the jerseys. Get out of here.
To the commentator's point about coaching specifically, he's in 100% right. Matt Rule is now turned. Baylor was in the depths of as deep as you could be in college football when he took over there after Art Briles had destroyed that program with letting players run amok and doing all kinds of assorted things on campus. And that program they could have got the death penalty. They were that low in the NCAA rung, and he was this close to bringing that team into a playoff berth before he went to the NFL. Now he's turning around a storied program that has been irrelevant since they went to the Big Ten, and he's got them building it the right way too, by the way. He's winning with the guy Scott Frost left behind, and he's recruiting some of the best players. Recruiting, not transfers. He's got transfers. Everybody's got transfers. He recruited one of the best college five-star quarterbacks in the country, got him to come to Nebraska and Raleigh. Matt Rule builds programs. Deion did a great job at Jackson State. I will give you that, James, 100%. But since he got to Colorado, it's been all bells and whistles, and that's all it is. So
to be fair,
that's fair enough.
And when Matt Rule came to the NFL, he's the reason that the Panthers have been destroyed ever since.
Talking about him as college coach. College coach.
That's why I said he should have stayed as a college coach, because he's horrible in the NFL.
He got a lot of money though.
Yeah.
to be fair to Deion, he did take over a one-win team, right? Nobody expected him to go win a national championship, despite the fact that talking heads kept talking about it after the first couple wins of the year. But he achieved some success turning that around from a 1-win team. They get 4 wins. It's a step forward, right? Where I have a real question, and this is not me defending him, because I think the way they play is terrible. They don't play defense. They don't run the ball. There's so much they don't do well that falls solidly on coaching. But what I'm addressing there is him getting fired right away is not going to happen. He's making Colorado relevant. He has some of the best transfers, right? Maybe not recruiting, but some of the best transfer rates. He's getting the most money this school has seen in a long time. So even if they don't ultimately win, he's going to have some years there unless he decides to leave, because he's doing something there that Colorado hasn't been in 15 years.
So
since Cordell Stewart and Michael Westbrook.
Yeah, I mean, they did have one other good, they had a good year here and there. So, but what's happening to him now is people are actually watching, right? So there's 2 different kinds of relevance. There's relevance on the field and relevance as far as money. And let's be honest, schools are about money.
Eventually, you got to win games, Bo.
There you
Eventually,
go.
you got to win games. I mean, he's going to go 4-8. He's going to go 4-8 again this year, or maybe 5. Maybe he might get 5 wins, but that's it.
Well, no, that's
not way more than that.
His schedule is actually easier this year, so he could potentially get a bowl.
There are 5 wins on the schedule. Top.
And Keith, I will say, last season, a lot of those games were 1-score games, that the losses that they had. It's minus Oregon. Oregon beat
he's getting blown out. I said he's not winning games. I didn't say how much.
James always is that silver lining in the cloud, right?
Man, I see all angles.
They lost by 1 point.
I see all angles. I'm not about to let Dion get down.
There's a W and then there's an L. That's all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So here's the thing about this is exactly to his point. The thing about that is he was playing in the Pac-12, which was one of the years where the Pac-12 was stacked. Through 2/3 of the year, 9 of the teams were ranked. I mean, yeah, you're losing, but you're losing to teams that are top 25 teams in the first year of coaching. You're supposed to lose those games. Now, that doesn't give him an excuse this year in an easier conference, easier schedule. If he doesn't win significantly more, then yes, obviously there's a lot of questions. And I'm not a fan of the way it's happening, but I feel like I have to try and add some
You're right about one thing. He's brought more exposure to Colorado in 2 years than they've had in the last 30 years combined. So you're right.
Exactly.
So the question I was going to ask before we went down this road is how long does this last? If he continues to lose, because listen, the bottom line is you got to win, because eventually, if we keep doing 4 wins or 5 wins or whatever, the money's going to be gone. Kids aren't going to want to go there. They want to go compete for a national championship. They want to make money. They will make money anyway. I don't care where they go now, except for maybe Clemson. The point is that they want to be on TV in a national championship and be relevant. If Colorado isn't relevant in 2 years, does this all of a sudden blow up? That's my
question. The average is about 3 years for a coach. You got to say it's about 3 to 4 years.
Is that 4 years?
I've seen 3 to 4 years that coaches.
I just said 2 more years. That's 4 years.
Yeah.
So 2 more years. Yes.
I don't even see it 2 more.
All this math is hurting my head.
So you think somehow he's going to be let go if he gets 5 or 6 wins this year? That doesn't make any sense. He's still trending the right direction. Like you're still stacking more wins than you had the year before. It's not like he had a 10-win season and then has 5.
4 to 5, yes, it's 1 more win. Yes, I'll give you that.
Yeah, if he has
I will wager right now he does not win more than 5 games this year.
5 wins will get you a bowl game.
That's not saying a whole lot, though. Come on.
It is for Colorado.
That's only if there were enough 6-win teams.
Save this clip, Max. So at the end of the season, when Dion only wins 4 or 5 games and he's released, I can say I told you so.
All right, and
I
Keith
mean,
too.
pack a lunch. That is not happening.
And Keith too. I will save this clip, and we will play a short at the end of the season.
I'm more than happy to admit when I'm wrong.
Yes, and so and I'm not. James and Jack get the participation.
We know that, Mac. We already know that. You don't need to tell us that.
James and Jack. You're right. Jack and James is now in the participation trophy syndrome. I thought he was a hard guy. He's not. Listen. Really, as Robert Saleh said, the Jets are fine, so we're not going to worry about him anymore. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about T. Higgins. Okay, T. Higgins is not going to play again. Now, here's a guy that was out in the market. He thought he should be getting about $30 million a year. I don't know about you guys. I know it's only one game. I'm worried about the Bengals. The Bengals defense really didn't look that good at all, stopping the run, and the Patriots just kept slamming them. We saw Joe Burrows was hurt last year. Did he throw good? I don't think so. Jamar Chase played because he decided it was his decision, and he played. It's a good thing I'm not his coach because he wouldn't have played it. In fact, he wouldn't play for another couple of games until I said it was okay that he played because I want to show him.
You're going to leave him in there the whole time.
I want to show him. I want to show him who's the coach on the team. He's not. He would sit on the bench till I said he's ready to play, not when he's ready to play. That would have been my response. But anyway, guys, are you a little worried about Cincinnati?
Nah, not right now.
Well, according to the rest of this conversation today, they lost to one of the best teams in the NFL. They're 1-0, so the Patriots are probably on their way to the Super Bowl.
It's only week 1.
Wait a minute! It's only week 1 now.
Only week for the whole season.
I only said that to actually hear that because we have all these overreactions about the Jets and everybody else. It's only week 1 though when I talk about a win.
Nobody is saying that about the Panthers. I'm sorry.
Because we know.
I'll tell you it's only week 1. That's fine.
Yeah.
Now, as a Patriot fan, I'm watching this game every week, and we'll be 17-0, so I'll be the happiest guy in the world. So,
yes,
I'm not going to watch any other games.
The Eagles and the Patriots will both be undefeated, and you both will meet the Super Bowl.
I feel like this isn't a professional sports show. This delusional sports show is what's happening.
Yeah, I've been drinking or something.
Honestly, though, the Bengals did not address their defense at all in the offseason, and I'm not saying the Patriots are a bad team. They are a running team, and that's all they really had to do. That's why I'm asking you guys, and this is serious. If the Bengals can't stop the run against the Patriots, you guys think that there's no cause for concern?
It's another team that didn't play anybody in the preseason, so I can't get excited. I'm a Patriot fan. I'm happy we won the game. This was our best chance to beat the Bengals ever this year was in week 1. Because nobody played, their record in the first 2 weeks, the last 2 years is 1-7. So everything's stacked in their favor. If they played them in 6 weeks, they'd probably get their butts kicked up and down the field.
Okay.
Patriots aren't a good team. When I said they were going to 17-0, that was because I'm going to watch this specific game.
I think Joe Burrow just put too much peroxide in his head and his.
Oh my God!
He needs
I'll
to
tell
go
you a funny
back
story.
that. Because they talk about chemicals and stuff. Well, you guys probably don't know, but for women, they talk about those perms and stuff seep through your scalp at some point, and there's lawsuits out there right now for people that have gotten relaxers and all this stuff. So Joe Burrow, who poured a whole bottle of hydrogen peroxide on his scalp, clearly it's altering his play. Joe, please be who they and go back to being a blue man.
I'm watching the game out. I'm watching the game out like I do every Sunday. Watch a Patriot game out with my boys, and I couldn't understand. My buddy was saying, "Why are the Bengals warming up their backup quarterback? This is like in the third quarter." And he asked me like 6 times, and then I never saw who he was talking about. And then he goes, "There he is again." I go, "That's Joe Burrow," because he didn't even recognize.
No, see, that actually explains a lot. I'm glad you pointed that out. That's why I have the problems I do. I had frosted tips in my 20s. I got you.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Frosted tips. He went complete frost, like cupcake frost.
Yeah, he's frosted flakes. So anyway, Excalibur, listen, when you get your own podcast, you can ask the questions, or you can do that on Keith's show. All right, you can
now.
run Keith's show.
What do you do?
I'll let you do that. I'll let you do that.
Oh my
But
God.
you are not in charge here. So when you get to stream of consciousness, you can direct the show. Here, I run the show. Okay. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Deshaun
We can ask
Watson.
that in a half hour.
Yes. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. I really don't want to, but I guess we got it because it's in the news. Is this thing going to forever go on? I mean, if he goes to the XFL or UFL or whatever it is, because he's that bad that he has to go learn how to be a quarterback again, are there going to be women still coming out of the woodwork accusing him of a sexual assault?
Why doesn't he go to school to become a normal human being? How about we forget about quarterbacking?
No.
Let him become a positive member of society. How about that? Jeez.
First of all, the only reason why, this is just my opinion, the only reason why women are coming out the woodwork for him, because have you looked at Deshaun Watson? He looks like a warped Cabbage Patch Kid. No one wants to admit they were ever with him in any way whatsoever. So now that he has these coins, they want their money back. They want their money for compensation. There is no assault. They just feel insulted. There's a difference. There's no assault. They just feel insulted that they laid up with this special Cabbage Patch Kid.
Well, that's a take I've not heard before.
I have never heard that.
Sonia's on one today.
Sonia,
That's
what
an
kind of
interesting take.
medication are you on? Is all I want to know because I want some of it. Yeah,
I just took my last
that is pretty interesting.
That means you're solidly on the Mark Davis is the microwave version of John Gruden. Is that what we're doing?
That's about right.
Guys, let's end here. Let's end here a little bit with a couple WNBA things. Of course, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese is all the hot buttons. First up, the NBA All-Star Joe Noah says the Fever should get an enforcer for Caitlin Clark when people are starting to hit on her. That maybe sort of like I guess like a Charles Oakley was for Michael Jordan, and that where if you want to rough her up, we're going to rough you up. Secondly, the commissioner comes under fire for saying that this is similar to the Larry Bird Magic Johnson situation where the players are kind of going say this was a perfect spot for you to talk about racial and the sexism and the misogynism and all these other isms that are going on today. I mean, what do you guys think about players coming against the commissioner and kind of giving her a hard time because she compared it to the Larry Bird Magic Johnson situation?
I mean, they play basketball much more physical than the NBA does. Like, they do beat on each other the way we all enjoyed basketball. So,
Larry and Magic played that physical kind of
that's what I'm
game.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were talking about the women today.
No, the women are playing that kind of physical basketball, something the NBA doesn't do anymore.
Not anymore, right?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
So I mean, it's not like it. Some of it isn't basketball plays for sure, but it wasn't back then either. So I mean, do they need an enforcer? Sure, they need that Draymond Green that's ready to go punch somebody. Sure.
God, he's the worst.
How about one teammate that will come to her aid? None of them want to come to her aid. How about
we talked about this before. Just somebody just saying, "Look, you're not going to do this on my watch." I mean, even Patrick Beverly, as small as he is, he's feisty. He's gonna get in your face and get you off his guy. That's what you need. You need somebody to have your back, man.
Because she has this aura about her, and I'm just saying that from my observation. It's kind of like, if you coming out here like you Jesus, and everybody else is your disciples, who want to come to your aid? Let's be clear. That's how she presents. I may be wrong, but that's my opinion. That's how she presents.
One of the things that I have heard is she talks a lot on the court, right? She talks a lot of smack, which is fine. I have no problem with it, but if you start stuff, sometimes your teammates are like, hey, like you did that though.
On your own.
And that's still bad. I mean, Jordan talked a lot of trash, but he had people to still have his back because it's all about team. It's all about team.
Larry Bird was the king of trash talkers on the
court. Here too. She don't need to be doing that coming in. She needs to get some establishment into the league first. This is not college. She needs
Jordan did it as a rookie.
Well, unfortunately, this is a different time. And, girls, we play sports differently. You know how you don't know. Women are different. And, everybody wants
I know that very well. But
have the cats going. So we live by, you guys live by the we hope nothing happens, and if it does, we got your back. Women, we live by the wish code. We wish something would happen so that we don't have your back because you're a bad
That's right,
addict.
we wish you would.
Listen, I married a lawyer just to protect me from the women I knew before in my life, for crying out loud. I know what you're
But
talking
Sonia, I've seen women back other women up in their team. I'm saying again, it's a team sport. You got to back the players. I don't care what's going on behind closed doors.
You've seen them back them up, but who are the people that they're back up? Asia Wilson. They back up Aaliyah Boston. Look at their demeanor compared to Caitlin. Bo just said it. She comes out talking trash, and you ain't put 1 point up. You come out the locker room talking trash in your face. Like,
I mean, to be fair, she is setting records out there.
Right.
Right. But does that mean you have to be disrespectful from the rip? Like, no. There's a difference in trash talking and being straight up disrespectful.
So Angel Reese is an angel out there. Angel Reese doesn't.
I will say one thing.
Also bang out there too. Like
I
she'll
will
go out in battle.
I will say one thing in Caitlin Clark's defense. She does not say anything about this, about people bumping her, about people knocking her down. She doesn't complain. She just keeps on playing. So I will say that, and I'm gonna tell you right now, she's one talented basketball player. She changed my mind about her this year. I'll tell you that. So all that aside, real quick.
So is Angel Reese too.
Yeah, I agree. One heck of a ball player.
I'll agree with that as well.
Barbie.
What'd you say?
Bayou Barbie.
There you go. It's her Barbie.
One
One
thing she calls herself the Bayou Barbie.
Yes.
One thing I want to talk about one before we leave is what did you think about the players coming out and criticizing the commissioner?
I think they should get a job somewhere else if they don't like working with her. I'm sick of it. Like, everybody doesn't have that opportunity to work, to play in the league. And if you're trying to team up on the head honcho, that's the one that's cutting your check, then clearly you need to find something else to do. That's my thoughts.
My apologies. What was the question again?
Well, the commissioner came out and did, because of all the split with the women, with Caitlin Clark camp, and you had the Angel Reese camp, and then you have the men's point of view, the misogynist point. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of isms thrown out, and she kind of she made light of it. She said, well, this is just like it was when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson played. But of course, there was no social media when when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird played, because guess what? It would have been a lot worse than this. I guarantee you that, because there was a lot more, a lot less, how do I want to put it? I want to say a lot less prejudice. There was a lot
less censorship.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, if there was social media back then, I think it would have been worse than what it is right now with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. That's just my opinion. I think I'm right. But so what do you think? The players are saying this was her chance to talk about racism, to talk about all this stuff instead of kind of blowing it off. And that's what they're saying she did. She kind of blew it off.
Oh, well,
yeah, but Jordan never took a hard stance on that either.
No.
He was about selling merchandise.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is nothing new either.
That's a great point, Bo. I have a lot of problems with Michael Jordan and the way he didn't speak out about kids getting killed over sneakers that could have been, because they were selling for $150. And
Jordan was very apolitical. He was all about the brand. He never really stood on nothing.
He could have stopped a lot of that stuff that was going on in that market by just saying, don't sell those sneakers for $200, sell them for $39. But no.
That's what Shaq did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that didn't go so well with the kids, though. I'm just going to tell you straight up.
I get it.
I was one of those kids. I was, we don't have much time. I can't really talk about that. Go ahead.
Yes, because you are very long-winded, James.
Rick said Angel Reese has a hug. And hello, Dennis Cockerham and the Trailer Park Country Band.
Yes.
They're opening for the Texans this weekend.
All right, there you go. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you keep putting comments on like that, we'll have you on all show underneath us. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Right after this, Keith Angle is up with College Football Huddle. Guys, have a great one. We'll see you soon.